In Psycho, Marion Crane spends a lot of time terrified. Terrified of what her boss thinks, terrified of this cop, terrified of losing everything. There's just one problem. She's afraid of all the wrong things. Welcome to Cinematic Language. Today we're revisiting Hitchcock's masterpiece, Psycho, a movie that doesn't hide the danger, it's right in front of us. But Hitchcock makes sure we're too distracted to see it. From the opening moment, Hitchcock teaches us where to look. Before Psycho becomes a horror movie, it's almost a crime thriller. Marion steals a lot of money and runs. Simple idea, or is it? Truthfully, Hitchcock spends hardly any time on the money itself. Instead, he focuses on Marion's attention. Before she leaves, she keeps looking at the money, not touching it, not counting it. She's wrestling with a choice. And that's important because Marion isn't introduced as a criminal. She's introduced as someone who's tempted. First, there's Sam.
I want to see you, and under any circumstances, even respectability.
Then there's this offer.
That's something, not aspirin. Teddy was furious when he found out I'd taken tranquilizers.
Then Tom flaunts this.
I'm buying this house for my baby's wedding present. $40,000 cash.
Right before he reveals her boss's secret.
Where's that bottle you said was in your desk? No, sometimes I can keep my mouth shut.
One temptation after another, and eventually Marion gives in. But here's where Hitchcock does something clever. The moment Marion takes the money, the movie changes. Not because she's being chased, because she thinks she's being chased. Look at her boss. He's not accusing her of anything. He's just confused. He thought she was sick. Case closed. But Marion immediately assumes the worst. And from that point forward, every interaction gets filtered through her guilt. The cop becomes threatening. The salesman becomes suspicious. And the longer Marion drives, the worse it gets. She starts imagining conversations, investigations, people putting the pieces together. She's so focused on being caught that she stops paying attention to everything else. And that's the key. Because Hitchcock isn't just teaching Marion where to look, he's teaching us where to look. And that's a problem, because the real danger hasn't even entered the movie yet. When Marion arrives at Bates Motel, the wrong person feels safe. For almost 30 minutes, Marion's been suspicious of everyone. But when she pulls into Bates Motel, all of that paranoia just disappears. She's stopping at an isolated motel in the middle of nowhere. There's nobody in the office, there's a strange house sitting on a hill, and the only person around is a stranger. If anything, this is the moment Marion should be the most suspicious. Instead, it's the moment she finally relaxes. And that's exactly what Hitchcock wants, because Norman Bates doesn't look dangerous. He looks awkward, polite, maybe even a little bit lonely. When Marion asks for a room, Norman says,
"We have 12 vacancies. 12 cabins, 12 vacancies."
He explains that moving the highway killed the business. Fair enough, but there are still plenty of red flags. Then Norman gives her room 1.
Cabin 1. It's closer in case you want anything.
She doesn't question this either. As Norman shows Marion the room, he points out the bathroom, or at least he tries to.
Over there.
The bathroom.
Yeah.
It's a tiny moment, easy to miss, but it's another red flag sitting in plain sight. The irony is almost comical. Marion has spent the entire movie seeing danger where it doesn't exist. Now she's standing in front of actual danger and doesn't see it at all. And that's the trap. Marion thinks she's finally escaped the thing that she's been running from. In reality, she ran to the most dangerous place in the film. When Marion joins Norman for dinner, the trap is right in front of her. Norman spends this entire scene revealing himself. The first clue is the parlor itself. It's filled with real stuffed birds. Birds typically represent freedom, the ability to fly away, and that's exactly what Marion thinks she's doing. The problem is that every bird in that room is dead. Their flying days are over. And Norman seems oblivious to the irony. As they chat, he mentions being isolated. He talks about his devotion to taking care of his mother, and every time he says something unusual, Marion keeps eating like she's consuming this information without thought.
We're all in our private traps, clamped in them, and none of us can ever get out.
And Marion's response is fascinating.
Sometimes we deliberately step into those traps.
Without saying it directly, she's confessing. For the first time in Psycho, Marion stops thinking about getting caught and starts thinking about what she's become. And that's where Hitchcock flips the script. Because Marion walks into this conversation believing Norman is the one who needs help. What she doesn't realize is she's trapped by one choice she made. But by the end of the conversation, Marion finally sees it. And that's why she decides to go back to Phoenix. That's why she gives Norman her real name. For the first time in the entire film, Marion starts looking in the right direction. There's just one catch. The trap she finally sees isn't the right one. Because while Marion is busy confronting the prison she created for herself, she completely misses the trap sitting across from her. When Marion finally sees clearly, the fear changes hands. Marion's ready to face the music, and that's exactly when Hitchcock removes her from the story. We all know what comes next. It's one of the most analyzed scenes in cinematic history. But what interests me more is what happens afterwards. Because the moment Marion dies, Psycho pulls off another misdirection. For almost an hour, we've experienced the world through Marion's eyes. Then she's gone. And the strangest thing happens. Our attention shifts to Norman. When Norman discovers Marion's body, he's horrified. He scrambles to clean up, wraps Marion's body in the shower curtain, gathers her belongings, and without realizing it, many viewers become invested in whether he succeeds. Think about what Hitchcock has done. Minutes ago, Norman was the danger. Now he's the character we're following. The best example comes when Norman pushes Marion's car into the swamp. At first, the car sinks. The evidence disappears. Then suddenly, it stops. And for a brief moment, Norman looks worried. What's fascinating is that many first-time viewers feel worried too. Psycho isn't just misdirecting Marion, it's misdirecting us. Because while we're focused on Norman's plight, Hitchcock quietly buries something else. The money. Remember that? Norman never even realizes it's there. He assumes it's just a newspaper and throws it into the trunk with everything else. Then it disappears beneath the swamp, just like Marion, just like every question we've been asking for the last hour. After Marion's death, everyone looks the wrong way. Arbogast believes Norman's mother is the key.
See, this boy had a sick old mother. I think she saw Marion and talked to her.
Lila believes the same thing, and honestly, so do first-time viewers. Remember, they've already seen Mother kill twice. They think they've solved the mystery, and the investigators are just playing catch-up. But that's another trick, because everyone is wrong. Arbogast isn't looking at Norman, he's looking past Norman. Lila isn't focused on Norman, she's focused on the house. Sam isn't trying to understand Norman, he's convinced Norman stole the money to escape his life. Even the sheriff points everyone in the wrong direction.
I'm sorry if I seem overanxious. It's just that I'm sure there's something wrong out there, and I have to know what.
I think what's wrong is your private detective called you to keep you still while he took off after her and the money.
Everyone has a theory. Everyone is chasing a piece of the puzzle, and everyone is working on a different puzzle. That's what makes the second half of Psycho so brilliant. The movie keeps convincing us that the answer is up on the hill. But the truth has been standing right in front of everyone the entire time. Running the motel, helping with the investigation. Mother isn't the answer, she's the distraction. When Psycho finally reveals the twist, the truth was never hidden. The ending doesn't really give us new information. It just changes how we interpret what we already know. Suddenly, Norman's awkwardness means something different. His allegiance to his mother means something different. Even that famous line,
We all go a little mad sometimes.
well, Now it means something different. The clues were always there. The problem is, nobody, including first-time watchers, were looking at them. That's why I don't really think Psycho's a movie about a twist. It's a movie about attention. It knew how easily our attention can shift, long before the age of social media. How quickly we jump to conclusions. How often we focus on the wrong thing. And the entire time, Norman Bates is the truth standing in plain sight. Thank you, Rob A. Gaber, for suggesting I revisit Psycho. I honestly forgot how layered this film is. If there's a movie or show you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments. I'm Grace, and until next time, avoid empty motels.